Tonight, a wild, and I mean wild, high-speed chase and a police dog pushed through a suspect's car window. The bizarre arrest caught on dash cam is sparking an uproar. Good evening, I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell coming to you live. The big debate tonight. Is this a good move or is it police brutality? You watch, you decide.
The dramatic end to a police chase.
And sometimes the job we do is not very pretty.
The pit maneuver stops Johnny Williams' car.
Wish they would have just took me peacefully and arrested me.
Lifts a police canine into that car.
The community should get to decide whether the use of force was reasonable.
Told us he didn't deserve to have the dog unleashed on him.
It was at least about 30 or 40 seconds before the guy came and got him off my shoulder.
You are looking at just released footage of the police chase that happened last month in Wilmington, North Carolina. After speeding through a DUI checkpoint, suspect Johnny Williams leads cops on a high-speed chase for 13 minutes. A T-bone pit maneuver causes his car to spin out of control and crash. And here's the key. You see his hands. Watch carefully. His hands go up like this. Hands up. Can you see it? Okay, the dog's in the lap. We're going to show it to you over and over again. You'll be able to see the hands go up, and then the dog is put right through the window into his lap, okay? And literally forced through the window. Okay, the police dog does what he's trained to do. He latches right onto the suspect's body and bites.
The opportunity to raise my hand all the way because the dog had to get that game to the driver's side window and bite me. And they hold on to me about, I say, it was at least about 30 or 40 seconds before the guy came and got him off my shoulder. Wish they would have just took me peacefully and arrested me, because that's what I was trying to do.
The suspect was taken to the hospital to be treated for bite wounds to his shoulder and face, and then he was booked on four counts of assault with a deadly weapon for trying to ram police cruisers, a felony, speeding to elude police, and numerous traffic violations. There we are. We're looking at it once again so that you can decide. Here's my rant. I understand these cops risked their lives during this adrenaline-pumping 13-minute chase. Dangerous, scary, frightening. Cops are human beings. They get scared. They get terrified. Okay? It was that chase that led up to this decision to sick the dog on the suspect. You've got the suspect allegedly trying to ram police cruisers. He could have killed somebody with his car. But I personally think the adrenaline and perhaps the anger took over when the cop pushed his canine through the window into this dog. You see the hands right there go up. And there is the dog right after that. There had to be a better way to handle this situation. The suspect, again, clearly, you saw it right there, both hands in the air, and the dog immediately after forced through the window. But I have to say this, the suspect may have had his foot on the gas pedal, ready to take off. So instead of pointing a gun or a taser at the suspect and saying, freeze, the officer decided to use both his hands to throw the dog through the window. All right? I personally think he was angry and wanted to teach this guy a lesson. What do you think of the officer's actions? Call me 1-877-JVM says 1-877-586-7297. We've got some breaking news. A grand jury just ruled this officer should not be criminally charged. Straight out to actress Sheryl Lee Ralph from Nickelodeon's Instant Mom. Do you think that was the right decision, that this officer is not going to be criminally charged?
Listen, my sister, there's one thing we all know. Two wrongs do not make a right, and the gentleman that took them on that wild goose chase, running all those lights, doing whatever he did, was doing under the influence, which was all of it together wrong. And like you rightfully said, you make these policemen have to chase you. Do not be surprised if they kick your behind, shoot you, or sick the dogs on you. Does it make it right? No, but at some point, somebody's got to stop putting themselves in these positions of wrong, and wrong-er. Did that police officer have to shove the dog in the window? No, but did you have to drive drunk down the street and then make them chase you for 13 minutes? No, all these wrongs do not make anything right, and in the end, you got bit.
You got bit, but who should take the hit? Okay, that's what I want to know. Now, this officer is on paid leave. No charge has been filed. There's an internal investigation going on. I want to ask Greg Kading, former LAPD detective, author of Murder Rap out of the LA Bureau. Do you think, Greg, that this officer should have been criminally charged? And given that he isn't going to be, do you think he should be fired?
No, I do not think he should be criminally charged. I don't think that what he did was so egregious that would warrant criminal prosecution. I understand what happens in these situations. I've been there. Your adrenaline's pumping, and it does sometimes affect your judgment. There was a much better and safer way to handle this situation. He's got a lot of tools at his disposal, and that it was not a tactically sound move for anybody involved.
Well, what should he have done instead?
Absolutely.
Former LAPD
Well,
detective, what if you're standing there, you're a canine officer, you've got the dog right there, the T-boning has just happened, this guy has just put his hands up like this, what do you do? What's the right thing to do?
Now that his vehicle has been stopped, that threat is significantly diminished. And so you have to reassess that situation. There's no more immediate threat. They are now in control. They have him stopped, and they can utilize all kinds of different safer tactics than running up to the car and throwing a land shark in there.
Look, Dr. Tiffany Davis Henry, HLN contributor. You know, I admire police. I actually took a police trainee course for a day, and I was told you'll never be a police officer because on a film I shot like 15 people. I'm not kidding. And they were like, they took me aside and said, you'll never, ever be a police officer.
It's not your gift, Jane.
It's not my gift. I'm a little over, I'm triple type A, you know, I'm overexcited. But seriously, you know, it gives you an indication of what it's like to be inside. Cops aren't robots. They're people. They get the adrenaline pumping. They get scared. Their heart's pumping.
Right.
It's very hard when a chase ends to be completely rational. I mean, do you think that this cop, it's all about intention. What was the intention of the cop when he put the dog through the window? To punish the guy or to restrain him?
I think it was to restrain him. Now, if you look at all the facts, the guy sped through a DWI checkpoint. He then led officers on a chase. He rammed into a patrol car. He took off again, ran through several different stop signs, and then that's when the officer slammed into him. Now, he says, you know, they could have taken me peacefully and arrested me. Well, look, brother, we're resisting arrest as it is, okay? So if they threw the dog in there, first of all, Miss Shirley Ralph, I love you, sister, and I'm telling you, I agree with you 110%. He had no business running from the police. This is what we're taught to do. Don't run from the cops. You know what I mean? If you've been drinking, you know what? Lay down on the ground, do your sobriety test, do whatever you got to do. But there was no reason to do all that, so he got what he got.
Don't drive drunk. You know,
He got bit.
He got bit, and I'm certainly not blaming the dog. The dog was following his orders and is doing what he's trained to do.
That was a good dog right there.
Yes, and you know, that's why they have these canine officers. But I'm kind of surprised because, Shirley, I would have expected you to come down hard on this police officer and say, fire him, charge him. You know, he's way out of line, but you're much more nuanced. And it comforts me because I was really going back and forth all day on my rant. Do I slam him? Do I understand him? Go ahead.
Listen, sister, Jane, the thing about it is was it extra? Was it mean to sick the dogs on the man? Absolutely. But the man led them on a chase for 13 minutes. When you're drunk, I know you're thinking outside of your mind. You don't know what's going on. You make some bad choices. That was a bad choice, and he got bit.
The job we do is not very pretty. It's just a fact. I mean, there are sometimes bad guys out there who are violent. The canine incident is still pending, and administratively, there's an administrative investigation going on as we speak.
The officer who put the dog through the window, not going to be criminally charged, but there is an internal investigation, so who knows what's going to happen there. Listen, I'm not picking on cops. Millions of cops do their job and risk their lives every day, okay? But recently we've covered sort of a string of cases where you got to wonder, don't they remember that there's a video camera rolling? Okay, remember this jail video of the female DUI suspect? She was shoved so hard into a metal bench, she busted her eye socket and had her teeth knocked out. Prosecutors say the cop was furious because she refused to face a certain way for her booking photo. That officer now facing battery charges for causing these injuries. And who could forget another female DUI suspect who crashed her car into an unoccupied house, and Tallahassee officers threw her face first onto the pavement. Remember this? And take a look at that woman's face. Last month, a grand jury faulted police for, quote, escalating the arrest. Now, Ryan Claypool, defense attorney, why is this case different from those? The case we were talking about with the cop putting his dog, his canine, through the window.
Well, the difference here, Jane, by the way, I've actually prosecuted over 20 civil rights cases involving alleged use of excessive force by law enforcement. And the difference here is the suspect was engaged in a very, very dangerous car pursuit that could have, he could have actually killed or injured many pedestrians that led up to the culmination of the car pursuit. So when you're deciding whether to prosecute a police officer in this context, you have to factor in whether you can get 12 jurors to convict this police officer. And I guarantee you, in this case, even though I think the use of force was excessive, there's no way a prosecutor is going to get a conviction here because the suspect put so many other people in danger.
I think you're right. Michelle, Indiana, your quick thought on this. What do you got to say?
Hi, Jane. I was raised to respect law enforcement all my life. I believe this police officer definitely crossed the line. What if that dog would have done serious permanent damage to that man's face or even killed him for that matter, or took off in the car with the dog? I think that police, unfortunately, they're getting big heads, and I think this guy should be fined or fired and do some community service at the Humane Society with the pooper scooper.
Oh, I like that, the pooper scooper. You know what? You should be a judge, my friend, Michelle, Indiana. All right.